Well, hey everyone, Caleb the Book Flipper here. If you sell textbooks on Amazon, this is going to be an important video for you to watch. I'm going to go through some of the problem areas or the trouble areas that you might find yourself in if you're not careful when it comes to listing textbooks. So one of the biggest questions that comes up, and some of the other people out there have addressed this question, but I'm going to step in as well. I think it's important to keep reiterating these concepts. If you get tape on your textbooks, there's usually a reason. There's usually something that tape is hiding, and it's really important to understand what that is and what you can and cannot sell when it comes to textbooks on Amazon. So the basic rule is your ISBN on your textbook must match the exact listing when it comes to listing it on Amazon. Now that may not seem that complex, but we'll walk through just a few examples where that does come into play. And it is important too that just because there's a sticker or an ISBN on the back of a book, for example, that does not mean that that is the actual ISBN for that book. You'll see this a lot of times when it comes to textbooks. Many of the textbook wholesalers or just bookstores will put their own stickers. It's very, very common to see that. If you don't see the actual ISBN, it's very important to make sure you understand what your book is. And again, just as a reminder, where you can find the ISBN is on the back side of the title page. So that's important to understand. So as you start flipping through the book, you got the beginning, you go to the title page, the back side there, and the ISBN will be on this page. And it looks like, if I can reverse engineer, looks like it's me right about in there. So trust that ISBN. Whatever you look up there, you're good to go. Now, where does this come into play? This is going to come into play really with three different groups of books. One's going to be International Edition, the second is going to be Instructor's Edition, and the third is going to be promotional or free copies. Now remember, I showed that first copy that had the tape on it. Anytime there's tape, especially when it's just giant black tape, and a lot of times the people will be pretty good at hiding these. There's a reason it's there. Sometimes it's black. You'll see the black tape on the back as well. Sometimes you'll see a nice shade of orange tape. You can see the orange covering the entire back, and remember, they're trying to hide something. You'll see some white tape in this case, again, up at the top, up at the bottom. They've got a nice used book sticker there on the spine hiding something, and then they've actually taped over the entire back, so it just looks like a white book. And if you're at a thrift store and happen to scan that barcode and get really excited because it's an expensive book, you need to be careful. This is actually a really well done tape job. They actually kind of looks like they rebound it, but it's black all the way around. They actually printed some stuff on the back here. They got their stickers on it. If you look closely, I'll try and show this. You can see that it's got the black cover, but the back side of the inside of the cover here is green. So what they did is they actually just taped over completely. It used to be black. It used to be green, and now they've kind of covered it so it's black. I tried getting a Scotty peeler in there just to try and see what we could see. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to have much success there. So anyway, these are just some of the things you're going to see. So rule number one, don't trust a sticker on the back of a book. Rule number two, what are we hiding? Then I'll show you Amazon's rules for what you're allowed to list. All right, here's Exhibit A. We've got the used tape on the front, just in the corner. All intents and purposes, it looks like a nice textbook. If you were to scan this, it's going to come up with a really nice price. On the back, again, we've got all this really shady used tape going on. You want to be really careful with that. So what is this hiding? Well, I actually have an untaped version as well. So in the corner on the front, where you had it taped up and it said used, this says, if you can read that there, this work is protected by U.S. copyright laws and is for instructors' use only. All right, so this is an instructor's copy. And then if you notice on the back where all the other tape was, you can see that kind of exclamation point. Now what it's going to say there typically is this is given out for free for the professors, and it's not for resale. And you can see there's a student ISBN. And a lot of times people will try and list these on the student ISBN. Well, this is not. This is Instructor's Edition. If you list this on the same page as the student one, you can get yourself in trouble. Here's a second one, Exhibit B. We've got, again, the nice fancy used stickers, or used us, because it broke off right in the middle. On the back, again, we've got that nice fancy used tape going on. Well, what are we hiding? We are hiding the fact that this is an evaluation copy, and it says in big letters, not for resale. So can we sell those? We'll explain that in a minute. Amazon says no. Okay, again, on the back, it's going to say in big letters, evaluation copy, not for resale. Conveniently, that's where the tape is hiding it up. So you want to be careful. Do not get caught selling these on Amazon. And if you do see tape on a book at a thrift store, be cautious. Last and not least, Exhibit C. Again, you're going to see instead of the used tape, we're just seeing that black tape, and again, it kind of covers the front on the top and the bottom, as well as on the back. We can see the black tape again kind of covering the critical pieces that says probably not for sale. All right, what are we talking about here? So here's the doctored copy, here's the actual copy. So the actual copy says Instructor's Edition, and if you'll notice right down here, it says not for sale. And I don't know about you, but when I read that, I think, well, I probably shouldn't sell it. Again, on the back, Instructor's Edition, and on the bottom, again, it says in big letters, not for sale, and that's what the tape is hiding. Now, I found a little bit of irony here in that the book was called Ethics, and whoever decided to doctor this copy up obviously didn't have a lot of ethics. So, once you explain the irony, it kind of loses the fact, so I'll move on. All right. I'm going to cover up my mug here. So on Amazon, what are you allowed to list and what are you not allowed to list? So this is actually on Amazon's page. You can listen to all the people out there tell you what you should list or shouldn't list, or you can just go straight to the source, and that's what I would always recommend. So selling textbooks, it's always important to understand the treatment of different editions, including previous editions, teacher, or the instructor editions that we showed, and international. So when listing your books, really the one rule you need to follow is the ISBN of your book must exactly match the one on the product page that you're trying to list against. So international editions of textbooks must be listed against separate ASINs or ISBNs from the domestic product. Now what you'll see a lot is you'll see people saying on a student edition, they'll undercut the price, so the book might be selling for $50, and somebody's in there saying, hey, it's the international edition, same content, and it's $30. Well, it is pretty much the same content. However, it's meant to be sold internationally. Now, the Supreme Court has ruled that those can be sold in the US, and so that's what Amazon's saying. Go ahead and sell them on Amazon.com. However, it must be on a separate product page. You can't list these as the student edition or on the same page as the student edition. And if you look at their international media policies, it says you are allowed to sell international versions of certain media products. Now, it says new condition. I did just reach out to customer support, and they said, yes, you can list these as used. You really shouldn't be listing new books on Amazon unless you have permission from the publisher and actual documentation that you're allowed to sell new. Some sellers are getting in trouble with that. So basically, and you can read up on all these if you'd like, but the basic rules are if you have an international edition and there's an existing product page on Amazon for that exact international edition or Eastern Economy edition or Global edition, have at it. Go ahead and list it. It should be okay. The Supreme Court has ruled with the first sale doctrine that once you've bought that book, it's yours and you can do with it what you like. Now, what you shouldn't be doing is buying pallets of them and shipping them into the US. That's kind of defeating the purpose. But if you happen to run across one at a thrift store and it's there, as long as there's a separate product page on Amazon, have at it. Do not come in and try and sell this on your own or under the student edition. So again, you have to match the edition. A lot of times the 6th or 7th edition might not be as expensive as the 8th edition, so people will try and sell them. And again, the content doesn't change a whole lot typically from edition to edition, but you need to match the ISBN, match the edition. Soft cover versus hardcover, it actually has to match the product page on Amazon, so be careful there. Obviously, you can't sell a photocopied textbook or a PDF. Some people try. Now, here's the thing about promotional instructors editions. So I believe you can sell these on eBay. I don't sell much on eBay, so you'd have to defer to somewhere else or eBay's policies. So just because a publisher slaps do not resell on the book doesn't mean that you necessarily can't resell it. They obviously don't want you to. They're going to say it drives the prices up. But when it comes to Amazon, it's not really a gray area. Should I sell this or not? Amazon specifically says if it says complimentary copy, free copy, instructor's edition, or not for sale, pretty much covering all the bases, do not list these items on Amazon.com. So somehow the publishers have got through and said, hey, Amazon, we don't want these being sold. Can you help police it? And Amazon said, absolutely. So again, I don't know if you're allowed to list these in other marketplaces, but when it comes to Amazon, you cannot list those. So these instructor's editions here that say do not sell or not for resale right on the bottom, again, a lot of people will just simply slap tape on it and try and hide the fact and go ahead and sell that. And if that's you, shame on you, I guess. And if you happen to run into books that have tape, just be very cautious. There's probably some reason the tape's there. You can take a Scotty peeler. And again, so teacher's edition, same thing. So if it says not for sale, can't sell it. Teacher's editions, it says, they're targeted to the teaching community annotated, or one's usually with other notes or answer keys in it. In most cases, they're not intended for public sale and may not be listed on Amazon. Now, in a small number of cases, they may be available for sale. And so the general guideline, again, is if Amazon is selling a teacher's edition, or if there's a product page with the matching ISBN, it should be permissible. Now, they do kind of in other sections of the website actually explain and say, well, you might want to consult with the publishers. They're kind of covering their own hind end there. But in general, match the ISBN, match the edition, match the cover type. International editions, if there is a separate product page, have at it. Promotional copies that say complimentary copy or free copy, don't bother. So again, if you've got the tape and it says instructor's edition somewhere on that particular book, you can look it up on Amazon. I got the product page pulled up for this particular one. So this is the Ethics. You can see the same picture there except without the lovely blue binding around it. And if you scroll down, there actually is no example of an instructor's edition on Amazon. You're not allowed to sell it. And again, the fact that it says not for sale right in big letters means you're not allowed to sell it. Now, it's a bummer because this particular book has used offers starting in the $30 range. And so a lot of people would, if you can, just get away with taping it up a little bit and sell it. You could dump this used for 30 bucks, and if it's in decent shape or prime even, you could probably get $50 to $60 for this book. So that's why people do it. Again, don't be those people. If you see books with tape on them, do not try and sell those on Amazon, or at least before you've taken a Scotty peeler to see what's behind the tape. So that's it. If you just follow the simple rules, match the ISBN to the listing, you're going to be in good shape and hopefully have nothing to worry about. And just as a reminder too, if you are buying books with online arbitrage, if you're using eFLIP, if you're using whatever software you prefer, if you get books that have tape on them, before you go and just flip it back around and try and resell it, you might want to dig at it with a Scotty peeler. We use these metal ones, are awesome. So the plastic ones are not gonna do well on this tape. Get the metal ones and you can actually get right under it and peel it off fairly well. If it is an international edition or instructor's copy that says not for resale, you can always return that to Amazon. They've got your back every single time. And if you could, do your best and do your job to help clean up the supply of doctored editions. Again, they're not that common. Most of the time they're spelled out and the sellers say, hey, this is, the book has tape on it, or it's an international edition, or it's a free copy. A lot of times they'll say that in the listing. So be careful, read the listings, but worst case, Amazon's always got your back. So that's it. Thanks for watching. Hope you have a wonderful textbook season coming up in a couple months. Cheers.